Hi there, friends and family. I'm Steve Klein, and welcome to Images in Motion, where I teach you the skills for photo and video restoration from the comfort of your own computer or laptop, and I may just throw a story or two in along the way. We also talk about the most cutting-edge tools and techniques for photo enhancement that you can be using today, such as AI and other tools that are at your disposal either on smartphones or other devices, so that you can share all of these wonderful memories with your loved ones for years to come. So if you're interested in these things, then consider subscribing to this channel and hitting the bell notification so that you're alerted on any new videos that come up. All right, let's get into this. Okay, and welcome to my lab, aka the Klein Studio, aka my den. All right, so now we're going to look at this photo here. Another one of the river that we were talking about earlier, because from our youth, and you may have had these memories too when you've done things as a family that just brings back memories. And this is one of them that I wanted to share with you here. This is a photo of the, I believe this is the Clackamas River up in Oregon, and it was something that we went to not really frequently, but there was the times that we went into the Mount Hood National Forest either for camping or outings. And one of the things I remember is going up in wood cutting up in deep in the forest and to get some of the logs that the loggers would leave. And I'm not sure if this is one of those trips or not, but this was one of the similar trips. Now I scanned it, and as you notice here, you can see the backing of the photo album. That's because I didn't want to take it out. These lines here are sticky, and so the photo sticks to it, and if I peel it off, it could bend the photo. And I've done these before where I've scanned them on a flatbed scanner, and then it's hard to get back into this album. But our smartphones these days take a really good photo. Now I want you to call your attention to something here. You'll notice that here, you notice that right here, it's not really cropped right. In fact, it looks like I left off the bottom and I got more of the top, and it's kind of skewed a little bit. So I did rescan this again, or retake the photo. And so this is a picture of a picture. I did this with my iPhone. I did all the best I could without getting the glare. And there's tools and techniques. We can talk about that in a future video, but without going into detail, you can see this is kind of blurry up at the top here. I changed it right to here. So you can see right here, you get a lot more details on this side. And then over here on the lower left, you'll see right there, there's a little bit of it looks almost like rocks, but this is a reflection on the actual photo itself. So we'll try and clean that up as well as we go through this photo. So let's get into it. First, before I go into Photoshop, I wanted to go into this right here. We talked about this in the last video about using just the Windows tools that comes with it. So let's see what we can do here with just regular Windows Editor. Okay, so now there's some things in here that you can adjust. Obviously, you can skew the image. We don't really need to because it's pretty straight. It's even cropped pretty well, I think. This is, we can go over here too for the adjustments. And as you can see here, you've got a lot of the exposure adjustments you have is similar to what you have in Photoshop. And this is all comes out free in Windows. So we can adjust the brightness. The brightness does kind of add some ambience to it, but sometimes if you go too bright, especially on an overdeveloped photo, it's going to look too washed out. So we're going to keep that around. Well, I'm just going to leave that about there for now. The exposure, the same way. If you go way up high, you can go way down low. Obviously, this doesn't really need that much exposure because it's pretty well the way it is. The contrast could be adjustment. I'm going to adjust it up a hair. If you notice when I do bring the contrast up, it does bring out the greens and the rock surface below the water. That's what I really like to see. Right now you see the light shining on it, but as soon as I turn this up to, if I turn the contrast up to about 20, 28 to 30 to 40, it really brings up a nice contrast. We don't want to go too much because it takes something away from the photo as well, some realisticness. So we're going to leave that there. Highlights. I really don't use the highlights a lot unless something needs to be highlighted. A lot of things in these old photos get highlighted. What we want to do is we want to take these shadows and we want to manipulate those a little bit. So bring down a little bit of the shadowing. So that produces a little bit more of these, it kind of emphasizes the shadows. And this is just what they call vignette, and it'll just kind of wash out the colors. I'm not going to really mess around with this too much. It's not doing as good a job, I think, as Photoshop would, but if I bring up the color saturation, that does pop those greens a little bit more. It's not bringing out the blue, and really I don't think the water on this one was really that blue, but you can really mess with things like the tint and the warmth. The warmth does add something to it. I'm going to just say this, and I'm just going to save this as just a copy. So I'm going to name this the edited version using the Win 10 photo editor. And so if we looked at those side by side, it looks something like this. So this one, we'll put this one on the left. The one on the right is the enhanced one. And that one's the one I didn't use. This one's the one I used. Okay, so as you can see, there's definitely some improvement here. We got this, we got the one on the left. It's more natural looking, but there's still some, blurriness here. The only thing I didn't really change on this one was the sharpness. So let's see if we can get to that here. So this would be, okay, it does have filters. You can actually use the filters and you can bring in the intensity of these different things. You can have the original, you can have a warm. So there's some presets in here that you can use. Oh, I should probably get myself out of here so you can see them all. These are all the presets that you can go to here in black and white cool. It looks like a black and white photo. That doesn't look that good, does it? And then warm, contrast. So that's really so this took the contrast that we already did, the subtle contrast, and just really took it. If I would have done this contrast originally, that might have really enhanced it. In fact, we can go back. I was going to do the sharpening of that, but let's go back to the original here. Let's use this filter again, and let's auto enhance it. Auto enhance it didn't do too much, except for it looks as close to what we did. But if I do like this punch here, or even the warm contrast, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I almost think that it looks better with warm contrasting the edited one that we did. So we edited it manually, and then we did a contrast on that edit. It almost, yeah, see, this is the original warm contrasted. This is the edited one, warm contrasted, because it takes it up a little notch. It might be a little bit too colorful, in my opinion. So let's take all these back down to where they were. This is the original again. Now, if we do the adjustment, there was a tool. I think we can't do it on here. It doesn't have the, yeah, this one does not have the sharpen mask, I don't believe. Yeah, so what we need to do right now is go into Photoshop. So now we're going to take that one and we're going to bring it into Photoshop, and then we're going to edit it more and enhance this photo even more. So here we are in Photoshop, and now what I can do in here is I can take it a little bit further. I've already done the contrasting, so what I want to do is go into the image adjustments and go down to the curve right there. This wave looks a little bit, I can bring out the enhancements of the shades a little bit more. I could probably bump up, I don't want to go too high on the highs because it's already oversaturated a little bit. See, if I bring this down, you can almost see the rocks below the surface, but that's just changing the lighting too much, and it's distorting the tree lines up above here, if you notice that. So I'm going to leave it right about there. You can also use the dropper tool. A lot of times if you're trying to enhance certain things, or you're trying to enhance certain parts of the image. But I think that looks a lot better. It's just a subtle change. And then the other thing we want to do is, okay, that was interesting too. If you notice, we have these auto adjust tones and auto adjust color. When I auto adjust the tone, it takes away some of those greens. Now I kind of like the green layer. This makes it a little bit more natural, but the glow of the sun, I think this has a more realistic tone to it. What do you guys think? This one or this one? I think I'd like just to keep that normal tone. Although we could set it like this because I already enhanced it. Let's go with this. Let's go with this natural color that is suggesting for the auto tone. And then let's also do our sharpening of this. So we're going to go to Sharpen Mask, Filters, Sharpen, and I'm just going to say Sharpen Mask, or Sharpen More. It's just subtle, and I don't want to spend too much time on that because I could go to the filters and I could go right here and unsharpen mask, and then you can spend a lot of time with the amount of sharpness, the radius of the sharpness, and the threshold. So you can really dial it in just right here. And so the problem with this though is it just you can see, well, I can move this all around any place that I want to on the photo. This is showing you a close-up. And as you're doing this, it's in real time. So if I go to the extreme, you can see this looks now like a painting. It doesn't look real anymore. You can adjust the radius, but that also adjusts the realisticness of it, so it could look more fake. I like sometimes when I'm doing the sharpness how it brings in it's almost like you can see the rocks in the river more. It's really cool. But again, I'm trying to go for more realisticness. I don't want it to be too fake. You can get really artistic with this, as you can see. You can just like really be like a, I don't know, like an artsy kind of person. You can create your images into like a painting almost, you know, so that's pretty cool. So let's take a look and let's just cancel this for now. I don't want to adjust that at all. So we just want to leave the sharpen mask on. And then I want to also look at the vibrancy of this photo. Let's look and see what we can do with this. If I increase it, whoa, that's too colorful, right? In fact, if I just go a hair up, it's just too green. The saturation that is. But if I go the vibrancy, whoops, like I said, if I go to vibrancy here, it does pick it up a little bit, and it almost gets the sky to look a little bit bluer. Now that's quite a bit different, but I like it. I'm almost liking this. So we're going to save that. We're going to export that. And you notice the blue in the sky has come out a little bit now. Okay, so now here we have the final product. The one on the left is the one that we edited with the Windows 10 photo editor. So this is a real big improvement from the original. And over on the right, we have the enhanced one that we just got through with Photoshop. And as you can see with the Photoshop version, we were able to sharpen it up, bring out some of the details in these limbs, but also the water with the curved bezel, the ones we did with the exposure and bringing out some of the darks and then some of the highlights and the shadows. We got more of the rocks and the surfaces underneath the water. So this is really, I think, a really big improvement. So if we had to compare this with the original, so this is the original, and this is the one we enhanced with Photoshop. Original, Photoshopped. Original, edited. So as you can see, I think this is a success. What do you think? How did it turn out? Pretty cool, right? I mean, that was pretty good. We just edited it with the basic editing, just the basic exposure and the contrast, brought some vibrancy back in, some color back in, and I think these pictures look really great. So yeah, what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comments section below, and maybe we'll do another one of these river photos. Do you guys have a story of your own going down the river? Leave them in the comments section below. I'd love to hear them. All right, until next time, we'll see you in the next video.